Scandals have always gone almost hand in hand with politics throughout the years, but there are different kinds of scandals that seem to generate different kinds of reactions. Well, yesterday we saw the indictment of Staten Island Congressman Michael Grimm, accused of a variety of financial improprieties. The feds filed 20 charges, I think, against him. Similarly, you go back in 2008, Harlem Congressman Charlie Rangel, censured by Congress for his financial errors. Both congressmen remain in office. I guess the jury's still out, though, on Mr. Grimm. But when it comes to personal lives and sex, there appears to be a different standard. Anthony Weiner, we all remember, forced to resign, especially after his interview with Dominic, after the Twitter problems went public. Vance McAllister, that married Republican congressman, remember him caught on camera kissing a female staffer? He's not going to be running for re-election. Trey Riddell, just the name alone should have got him kicked out. But anyway, the cocaine congressman, he turned in his papers. Chris Lee went looking for fun on Craigslist, resigned. Elliot Spitzer, you know what happened there. Bill Clinton, impeached from office for the affair, but not removed by Congress. And there are more examples that we can count. Okay, major exception to the trend. Louisiana Senator David Vitter, who patronized, of course, the D.C. Madam Prostitute. He remained in office and has become part, in fact, of the Senate GOP leadership. And Andrew, I think your point is going to be it does make a difference, Democrat or Republican, what the scandal is.
Well, especially when you're looking with Republicans in a sex scandal, the Republicans who are going with family values are the ones who are the most subject to being bounced out when it comes to a violation of family matters. But, you know, look at Weiner, look at Spitzer. It happens on the Democratic side, too. I just think people at home tend to get those scandals more, whereas financial scandals, even when dealing with the public's money, I think it's harder for them to comprehend, and people can fight it longer and say that it's a witch hunt in one way or another.
There may also be a legal problem. With the sexual things, that has to do with morality and whether the voters would want you in office and all that kind of thing. But if someone is indicted, like on the financial crime here, you're indicted, he hasn't pled guilty. What if he pleads not guilty? He says, I'm not guilty of this. Then you're in a very delicate position. You can't force him to resign because that's almost an admission of guilt, even not legally, but it looks it. So they all tread very carefully. When there's an indictment, your behavior and how the other politicians deal with you is totally different than if it's something that, boy, this looks bad, this is bad, but it's not illegal, it's immoral.
Richard, to Jerry's point, you cannot make them resign, right?
Especially depending on the calendar, because he's so close to the primary. They're stuck with him, Republicans.
They're stuck with him, but they are making him, Grimm, walk the plank. He's done. You can. It's a wrap.
He's losing the polls now,
He's
right?
losing. Well, I don't know what the latest poll shows, but what I do know, national Republicans are not sending in any money to help bail him out. They have cut ties with him. Once you cut the money and the financial apparatus, you're in deep trouble. And so Grimm, they haven't even dealt with the campaign finance stuff. They're only dealing with now lying to the FBI and 2 sets of books. He's in deep trouble.
Is the dirty secret now, Jerry, that if you screw around, get right in front of it if you get caught, and don't try and dance on it and just say, yep, I did it, I'm terrible, 1,000 pardons, forgive me? Or
America is great with confessions. You confess. American people are always willing to give people a second chance. I won't say always, but mostly. It's not that. It gets down to the legal issue. That really is. If you are indicted, no one's joking around anymore. This isn't about, well, there could be some bathroom jokes, humor, and stuff like that. It's not that at all. Now it's, you've been indicted. You could go to prison. This is a felony. And forcing someone to resign, you can't do, because what if they're not guilty? And you got to give the guy a chance to defend himself.
When we come back here, we're going to lighten things up a little bit, and we're talking some sports here, but more specifically something that everybody in the audience has probably done at one point or the other, whether you want to admit it or not. In this case, Robbie Cano coming back to Yankee Stadium for the first time wearing a different uniform than the Yankees. Fans aren't too happy about it. Jimmy Fallon had a lot of fun with it, but it also raises an interesting question. We'll show you a clip that'll get you to laugh, and then I'll ask a couple questions to see where people believe the line starts and stops when it comes to booing.